just got to execute early on, find a rhythm of the game, and then go finish in the fourth quarter.
The whole season on the line for the Buckeyes. Nobody giving the Wolverines a chance to win this game. Howard in trouble! Incomplete! Ohio State turns it over on downs. And the Michigan Wolverines will shock the college football world. And now there's some skirmishes going on the field.
You got to fire Ryan Day.
If there wasn't a 12-team playoff, Ryan Day would be...
I think he would be fired.
Is Ryan Day the guy for this job? Can he and the football team bounce back?
Touchdown, Ohio State strikes first.
They cracked his helmet with such a big hit. Look at that.
Touchdown end zone. Henderson breaks free. House call for Ohio State. The Buckeyes can begin planning for Pasadena. There is Smith rolling free. Breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly. Caught in stride. Abuka touchdown. Buckeyes on fire. Smith is wide open. It's a Crimson avalanche here in Pasadena. Travian Henderson gets with it back for Ohio State. Sawyer knocked it out and picks it up. Ohio State scoop and score. Heavy pressure. Howard delivers downfield. And Smith, he's got it. And Ohio State is going to walk out of Atlanta national champions. The story gets to get told now, and it's a great story about a bunch of guys who have just overcome some really tough situations. There's a lot of people that counted us out, and we just kept swinging and kept fighting. It's the reason why you get into coaching, is to see guys overcome things, learn life lessons, and then reach their dreams. College football national champion, Coach Ryan Day, and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Well, what's going on, Buckeye Nation? Rob and Peter back for another live here on a Tuesday night. Coming off a good weekend of football, man. There were a lot of upsets. A lot of people were dogging this weekend, saying there's only one ranked matchup. I'm like, dude, this is the second week of college football. Are you really complaining about what's going on in the college football world? Arizona State falls at the last second to Mississippi State and a 70-yard touchdown pass. I mean, Ohio beats West Virginia. Other upsets along the way as this weekend unfolded. And the big headliner was Michigan looking embarrassing down in Norman, Oklahoma. They really had their struggles. And Bryce Underwood had a 37% completion percentage. Rob, Sherrone Moore has lost 6 of his first 14 contests as the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. What should Michigan fans expect going forward? More of the same?
You know, when he first took the head coaching job, you know, I was kind of like, you know, did he actually earn that head coaching job, or, you know, was it just given to him? And just like, you know, I know a lot of Michigan fans or just college football fans in general, they talk about, well, you know, he took over the team for Harbaugh, beat Penn State, beat Maryland, beat Ohio State, and just like, cool. But Harbaugh was there during practice, and he pretty much took over a championship team. I think Mike Hart could have coached that team, could have been the head coach during that time. You just never know. But I never really saw it. I know that, you know, Michigan fans really love the fact he beat Ohio State 2 years in a row, but I don't think he's the guy. You know, we've seen this before. Great recruiter, but just can't get it done on the field. And that was Brady Hoke. Now, Sherrone Moore is a great recruiter. I mean, he brought in a top 6 class last year, and it looks like, you know, they're going to have a top 10, top 11, but you never know what's going to happen in the era of NIL. But dude, I'm not sold, man. You know, there were a lot of coaching deficiencies that I saw from Moore last season. You know, clock management. What the heck was he challenging a catch for against Michigan State? And just, you know, in-game adjustments. And that dude is such low energy, man. Like, he has like this expressionless
Very stoic.
look on his face, man. Like there's chaos going around, but it's like, okay, yeah, someone else will someone else will take care of it. And just like, dude, Peter, we went to Ohio to Michigan's campus and we made a giant sign that said Sherrone Moore is gonna have 3 losses. We left it at his parking spot before we left. And he ended up doing 2 games worse. We tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I will say, one of the teams that we didn't have him beating was Ohio State, and he beat him. So, kudos to that. But in the bigger picture, past the rivalry, because we all know Michigan fans love to talk about the rivalry, and just
Sure.
if Ohio State's players do terrible in it, it's the worst thing in the world. They're not elite players because Michigan is the standard of college football. But at the end of the day, on the national level, the dude is terrible against anybody else other than Michigan. I mean, other than Ohio State, who has a pulse, man.
Yeah, when it comes to equal competition, he falls short. Deborah says it too. She says they should expect more humiliation. Sherrone is a placeholder while the cheaters figure it out, and I have to fully agree with her on that. He's in out of his depth. Let's just put it that way. He doesn't understand what is required of him, and he's not. I don't think he's capable of delivering for the Wolverines.
Hey, Peter, guess what, dude? I was just looking because I noticed we had a lot more, like we had several viewers at the beginning. I was looking, dude. We just lost a sub, man. I wonder what type of fan they were. We just lost a sub. I guarantee you they were a Michigan fan. And just like, dude, if you're going to be someone who subscribes to the channel, even if you're a Michigan fan, don't unsubscribe just because we bash your team. We bash any team on here. We bash our own team. That's just the way it is. Everybody's gonna get it if they mess up, dude. But
yeah, nobody's safe on this channel. We're gonna come for it. We came for Caleb DeBoer last week, and Sherrone Moore's getting it this week. So
yeah,
it's just kind of the way it is, man.
Going back to Sherrone Moore, one thing I noticed during the game against Oklahoma, we talked about him having that expressionless face, and just like I could imagine that just rubs off on the players. It's just like, I mean, credit Jim Harbaugh for this one thing, but he was always live on the sideline. He get livid when things didn't go his way. Throw his headset, his clipboard, and just it pumped up the team. Low, you know what? I think I'm gonna start calling Sherrone Moore low energy Sherrone, dude. Like.
Yeah, it's interesting because like last year, I kind of saw that as a strength of his in the sense of he's a steady through these rough waters and these rough patches. But sometimes in football, you got to lay into somebody, man. You got to fire somebody up. You gotta correct them. You got to come at them with some attitude. Be the coach. You're not their buddy, and set them straight. And I don't know if Sherrone has that gene in him. He certainly loves to talk his smack post game, and he was dancing around the horseshoe and yucking it up and all that stuff last year in the post game. But
yeah,
in game, I just feel like he doesn't handle things well.
There are about there are some things that I said Michigan needed to do in order to win, and that all laid on the shoulders of Sherrone Moore. One of them was, let's be honest, they didn't make it inside the 30-yard line that many times. There are only 2 or 3 opportunities. One opportunity when it was 4th and short, they decided to go for a field goal. Zavada, very rare, he missed the field goal. And then they're inside the 38. Who punts inside the 38, dude? You have one of the best kickers in all of college football. Yep. And you don't let him try to kick it, go for the points. And just like, dude, just the play calling as well, man. Like, you have Bryce Underwood, and you're not gonna let him run. You're not gonna let him, kind of do his thing. But I will say, Underwood, a stat was named was listed during this game at the end of the game, and it was that he was 0 for 9 under pressure. That's a big thing, man,
Mhm.
because other defensive coordinators are going to recognize that weakness, and they're going to bring the house each week, dude.
Well, that's just proof that he is a freshman. Like it's remarkable how poor he was when Oklahoma brought the blitz. Not everybody's going to be able to get home like Oklahoma did on several instances, but showing that Bryce is a different quarterback when he has pressure against him. I mean, that's pretty telling, and he needs to grow in that as the year develops. So there's going to be a lot more of that. Ohio State and Matt Patricia will definitely capitalize on that and put him under duress. That's what you just do. That's what you do to freshman quarterbacks. It's simple, but it's what you have to do. And he performed poorly. He showed he couldn't handle the pressure that was coming up the middle, or from the corners, or from the edges.
But, other than that, in terms of the run game, Haynes had that one big run at the beginning of the second half. But other than that,
Yeah.
man, I mean, look at the stats. They had like 2 or 3 yards per carry. That's not going to get it done. And don't even get me started on the O-line play. It was just,
Oh man,
it was average.
not
But
vintage Michigan. I'll tell you that much.
nah, man, no, dude.
They have
But
slipped far from the 23 season and what they were able to do with our offensive line.
yeah, another thing that you want to look at is, I did mention that, hey, if you want to throw John Mateer off his game, you're gonna have to get pressure on him, make him uncomfortable in the pocket, make him try to escape the pocket, and throw on the run. Because against I think it was Idaho State, there was this one throw where he was met with pressure. He went right out of the pocket. He threw into triple coverage because he was thrown off his game. Dude, they let him be just way too comfortable in the pocket, man. And you know what? Their secondary, it's not that great either.
Jair Hill and Zeke Berry, they got
It's
some work to
just
do, man.
so what happened is, due to the fact that they couldn't get home or pretty much didn't do much, Mateer was able to stand in the pocket and pick off their secondary, dude. Like
Yeah,
I
he
knew
picked them
he threw
apart.
I knew he threw one interception,
Hmm.
but it was just, I mean, other than that, dude, Mateer had his way with that defense. And
Sure.
also Michigan won the turnover game. They got an interception. They got that muff punt, and they didn't capitalize on it, man.
They were +2 on turnovers, and they could not do anything with those lucky bounces they got. They almost got a third one with the Jair Hill. Jair Hill dropped the interception. And yeah, like you said, Michigan couldn't do anything with the turnover advantage. They couldn't move the ball effectively, whether it's on the ground or through the air. Like we mentioned, Bryce, 37% completion percentage for the game. That's not going to cut it in the Big Ten this year. It just isn't. And it was really fun to watch because we love seeing Michigan struggle, and we saw some of the same instances last year with Khalil Mullins, and they struggled to move the ball at times on the ground, and especially through the air with Davis Warren, and obviously Bryce's upgrade from him. But my goodness, man, like what a paltry performance on the road for his first road game, first true road test. And he's got more coming up. USC, I'm not buying into them yet, but they're looking slightly better. And they
So,
got to travel to Nebraska too, without their head coach now, Sherrone Moore, for 2 games sitting, and that's going to have an effect too. So
question here, Peter, because I know there was a lot of talk in the offseason, bragging about their defensive line, and the
sure.
depth.
10 deep.
So what I'm seeing now is, you can brag about depth all you want, but are they as talented as you claim they were? 'Cause,
It
dude,
certainly doesn't look like it.
their defensive linemen, I think it was either, gosh, they been hyping up Rashawn Benny, dude. I
I
didn't I didn't see
I
him one
saw him.
bit.
Yeah, he was a no-show in the Oklahoma
Yeah,
game. He
dude.
was a stud last year, but maybe
Mhm.
that was because he was coming off fresh. He's not performing at all in these first 2 games. I expected really big things from him. Not Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham levels, but I expected him to perform this year, and he's completely failing. And it's pretty fun to watch. But Ete and some other dudes, they said they're 10 deep, man, but they didn't get a single sack against the Sooners.
Yeah.
And part of that is because Mateer can scramble, but part of it is because you weren't getting any pressure. You weren't in Mateer's face at all.
No, man. And just a lot of the fans are calling for Grant Newsom to be fired. They're tired of the lackluster poor performance from the O-line, because I think this is last year there were issues. I'm pretty sure there were issues with the O-line, and this year there's definitely issues with the O-line, and it's just they want him gone, dude. I mean, this is definitely not your Joe Moore award-winning
Yeah.
line that you've usually seen. So
There's two things why I think that's happening. One is that the Harbaugh flirting with the NFL for 3 years before he finally left tanked recruiting for the Wolverines, and that's showing up on the field now. Also, I think it is Grant Newsom. I mean, you had Sherrone Moore coaching the O-line, and they were doing very well under him. Now that he's taken that responsibility away and give it to a former Wolverine and Newsom, he's shown he's not up to the task, man. He was a great offensive lineman for them when he played here, but doesn't mean you can coach it.
yeah, here you see that video I made of here's the a Sherrone Moore. It's a funny one, man. Here's a Sherrone Moore appreciation. 1 second. Oh my gosh. It's not
Coming
going,
through.
man.
It's all good.
It's not going through, man. But if you haven't seen it, dude, if you get off
Yeah,
here,
no, I've seen it.
go to Shorts. It's hilarious, man. It's the video of him, crying in his post game interview against Penn State, and I added some music to it to make it even more funny. So
Yeah, buddy, it's a good
but
view.
before we head off the topic of Sherrone Moore, Michigan, because we have other things to talk about.
Sure.
It seemed like the program, after a lackluster start, seemed like they finished off strong. They got their win over Ohio State. They got their win over Alabama. It seemed like, they had this momentum going into the offseason. They got the recruits that they wanted, finished 6th. And now it's just like it's another lackluster start. I mean, do you think, because they really love to hype up that win over Alabama. Do you think that, it looks like Alabama is not that good of a program in general, but I will kudos to them for getting Ohio State. What do you think happened along the way, man? Just like they're off to another lackluster start. They still proves that they are having a hard time beating anybody else on the national level.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out as well. As are most of the nation's fans, especially Michigan fans, but they certainly did come into this season with elevated expectations based on how things finished, and yeah, they lost 5 games. Their whole mantra this offseason, yeah, we beat all our rivals and we beat Bama, and it's just the thing that they were hanging their hat on. Why I think they're struggling is probably because he's just not a good in-game coach. He's not a good in-game decision maker. He's not, although he appears calm and collected on the outside, I don't think he's very calm and collected on the inside. I think there's a million things going through his head. And I think, unlike Ryan Day, this job is far too big for him for his first time ever job.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have a thought on that. There are very few head coaches who worked out with their first head coaching gig being at a big time school. And 2 that we know of in terms of the modern era of college football is Ryan Day and Lincoln Riley. Ohio State hasn't missed a beat ever since Ryan Day's been hired. And, Lincoln Riley at USC, very questionable right now. But when he took over that Oklahoma program, he kept it going. He got them 4 straight Big 12 titles, made the college football playoffs, and seemed like the program was in a better position than it was under Bob Stoops in terms of getting the playoffs, winning big, just the overall performance. So he had them in the hunt every year.
They were, and they made the playoffs.
Oh yeah, wait! I'm forgetting someone else. Kirby Smart. He left Alabama,
Yeah, you're
went
right.
to Georgia, and look at Georgia, man. So that's 3 head coaches that
Yeah,
have
you're right about that.
succeeded at as their first head coaching gig at a big time program. It's very rare, man. I mean, we've known other head coaches who've actually had experience previous places, and they still didn't make it as a head coach at a big time program. We've seen that. So, I mean, dime a dozen, dude.
Yeah. We'll see how things transpire with Dan Lanning. He's in that role too, and my gosh, that's something I want to talk about as well. The Oregon State, or Oklahoma State. Dan Lanning dropped 69 on Mike Gundy's head. I didn't anticipate that at all. I knew Oregon would win. Everybody knew Oregon would win.
Peter, I'm
But
able to
69 points?
yeah, 1 second. I'm able to get the video. 1 moment.
All right.
Where is it? Oh man. Actually, wait, no, it's not letting me.
Okay.
Never mind. All right.
But yeah, so Dan Lanning dropped 69 on Oklahoma State. I don't everybody on our show last weekend predicted Oregon would score upper 30s, low 40s. They dropped a 69 bomb on Mike Gundy's head. What? Dante Moore looks like the real deal, although I don't have high expectations for Gundy. I said at the beginning of the year he was on the hot seat, and he clearly is after that performance.
Yeah, there's 69 reasons why he's on the hot seat right now. So definitely.
They collapsed last year, and it wasn't good, and starting rocky this year. My gosh, man, what an embarrassment on a national stage.
Points, bro. 69 points. I mean, before when we were picking our, Big 12 champion, we were like, okay, Oklahoma State has pretty much been in it. Now that Oklahoma and Texas, it's their time to start claiming Big 12 championships. And, it's just, that's not what happened. They completely fell apart last season.
Yep.
And, it was this 69-3 loss is embarrassing, dude. Oklahoma State's quarterback had 67 yards, 2 interceptions, 7 for 19. Dante Moore had 266 yards and three touchdowns, 16 for 21. But here are the team stats, man. Oregon had 631 total yards. 631 total.
That shouldn't be against a power 4 opponent. That just shouldn't be.
Man, that's like video game numbers.
It's embarrassing, man. He's gonna have to figure it out. I really don't think he's going to. I think the game has passed him by. It's not the mid 2010s anymore. We're a decade beyond his glory days, and he was really, really falling off. It's interesting, from the Oregon perspective, looking at it from their side of things. Dante Moore looks pretty elite. He looks pretty nice on his deep ball. He looks pretty good with his receivers, despite losing to them before the season even started. So, yeah, it's really interesting to see what the Ducks are going to be able to come up with. Do you think they're a serious contender again this year for the Big Ten and national championship?
Dude, I really want to wait because the jury's out right now. Let me look at Oregon's schedule.
I mean, they're coming to Penn State here in another 2 weeks. So
yeah, dude. My decision
gonna be a lot of fun.
My decision will be made on September 27th when they head into Happy Valley for a whiteout game against the Penn State Nittany Lions. I mean, right now they're 4th overall, so let's definitely. That's going to be the eye test for me. So,
yeah, once he faces a real good defense, we'll see if Dante Moore can do it too, because he clearly didn't face one this past Saturday. and it'll be fun to. I'm excited to watch them. I wanted to tune in for that one, but there were so many other games on that I was watching other contests, but my goodness, man, it'd be fun. Hopefully we'll see him in Indy. If not, we'll likely see him in the playoffs as well. But yeah, Oregon looks like the real deal. But getting on to our Ohio State Buckeyes, man, we are hosting the Ohio Bobcats for the first time in 15 years. The in-state matchup with the MAC school that we haven't played in a while because their mascot attacked our mascot, and he got kicked out of school as a result from that. And we also didn't play them for another 15 years. We played other Ohio MAC schools. The Bobcats, they bring in Parker Navarro, their quarterback. He won them the MAC championship last year, had one of the best seasons in Ohio school history. He is that dude at quarterback. He is very good, and he has legs like we probably won't see in the regular season from any Big Ten opponent. We're gonna have to spy him because he will run on us. Thankfully, Arvell, Reese, and Sonny Styles will be there to clean things up. But
let me address this real quick. It says, "Hey guys, how do you feel getting your ass kicked by my Michigan by Michigan every season, dude? You know what, man? We just won a national championship. You guys had us getting blown out against Texas, and then walked back your comments after Ohio State beat Texas. You know, you guys are wishing on our downfall. You know what? Ryan Day may have lost 4 straight in the rivalry, but against anybody else, I will take him any day of the week against anybody else, any team in the nation, dude. Like,
yeah,
it's a new era of college football. You know what? The rivalry means a lot, but let's say they go in there undefeated or one loss, they can lose that game and then get into the playoffs again to win the national and possibly going to win the national championship. So the stakes are lower in terms of that game. Doesn't mean a lot. Yes, I love to beat, Michigan as much as the next Ohio State fan, but there's not that much emphasis on there due to the fact that the playoff has been expanded. But dude, like, if this meant, Michigan beats Ohio State, but yet they had another 4 or 5 loss season, and Ohio State still gets the playoffs and goes on a natty run, I wonder if that happened several times, the Michigan fans would still be happy with beating Ohio State. I know I wouldn't, because all I hear is, this is Michigan, we're the greatest, leaders and the best. Just like, okay, you beat Ohio State, but you're losing 4 or 5 games a year. You're not making the playoffs. Other than that, what's your identity?
mm-hmm. Are you competing for anything serious? Are you winning anything serious under Sherrone Moore? And the answer is definitively no. Under
man.
Sherrone, it's not going to happen. And
Definitely
so
not.
you can hang your hat on a win. And if I was you, I'd do it too. But you have 45 losses a season, and we get to laugh right back in your face on that
And
one.
it's still showing that Sherrone Moore is having a hard time beating anybody outside of Ohio State that has an actual pulse. And no, I do not give him, I don't care that they beat Alabama, dude. That was the worst Alabama team since, first year Nick Saban. And it's showing right now that Kalen Dobert is not the guy. Alabama wasn't that good, minus their quarterback. They almost have like pretty much the same players on the field. So no, they're not that good. So the win against that season-ending win against Alabama isn't looking too great right now.
It's certainly discredited. So it's going to be fun to watch the demise continue, man, and the coping mechanisms get stronger and harder until they all realize he's not the dude. He's not going to lead us to the promised land. We have to go to somebody else. It's just the reality of the situation that's coming for Wolverine fans. And you can choose to deny it, you can choose to not accept it, you can choose to not live in reality, and you can choose to hang on a game from last year when we're in 2025 now and you already have a loss. So if you want to do that and live in the past, go ahead, be my guest. But Harbaugh's not coming back, man. He never is. And so you're going to have to find somebody else. So
Maybe 13 years later, man. Maybe.
yeah, we'll see what happens down the road. But
All
fun
right, but
times are ahead
yeah,
for Buckeye Nation.
Ohio State versus Ohio, man. Let
Yeah.
me tell you something. Ohio State may have been playing Grambling State, but Julian Saint's stat line in terms of accuracy, that's his ball placement just off the charts. I don't care who you were playing. 18 for 19 and you know, pretty much a perfect completion rate going into the half. That's still phenomenal. I don't care. Again, I don't care who you're playing. He's throwing the ball to only where the receiver can get it, which means pretty much any defender who is covering the receivers is not going to be able to defend it, because that's the key for the quarterback. Throw the ball where the receiver is not going to be able to get it.
The thing is, he did that versus Texas too. We just had some drops. He was very accurate and crisp versus the Longhorns, and that gave me a lot of hope and a lot of joy looking forward. And to see him get even more confidence playing an opponent like Grambling State, he's going to grow into that and continue to grow into his role. And he is the leader that we need. He is the QB that we need. A lot of people always down Ryan Day in the quarterback position. Even Buckeye fans, every season there's anxiety about, is this guy going to screw up? Is he going to not live up to the hype? Is he not a 5-star? Is he this? Is he that? And year after year after year, even Kyle McCord led the Big Ten in passing yards. As crappy as he was, he still led the Big Ten in passing yards and touchdowns. And so to ever doubt a Ryan Day quarterback, I think you got to be crazy at this point. There's a serious track record, and there's proven history of competence in coaching and in performance from that position at Ohio State.
Is Ryan Day a quarterback whisperer, dude? That's a serious
no
conversation, because look what he did with Will Howard. I don't care to hear about, well, Will Howard had better receivers at Ohio State than did at Kansas State. That doesn't matter in terms of he honestly wasn't that accurate at Kansas State. His mechanics weren't as good, and it just, go look at the stats at Kansas State. It showed. All right, people are saying,
had he gone anywhere else,
yeah, well,
he wasn't getting drafted.
Well, he got benched his last year at Kansas State. Well, look what Ryan Day did. He helped turn that Will Howard around.
Yeah.
And, you know, he did a phenomenal job the year he was at Ohio State, possibly the highest completion rate in Ohio. Like, just, I mean, we're talking about a season overall, 75% completion rate. That is phenomenal. And his QBR was above 90%.
Yeah, he set records at Ohio State, man, and it was phenomenal. He would not have gotten drafted had he not come to Ohio State. He absolutely just wouldn't have. And Ryan Day got him drafted. And for anybody doubting that Ryan Day is not a quarterback whisperer up there with Lincoln Riley, then you're delusional, and you're not living in reality. It's just that simple. But
you know, there's always been talks during the offseason that Ohio State has another quarterback problem. Ryan Day is saying they're neck and neck. And I will say the only time that I was concerned with their quarterback battle was in 2023 when it was Kyle McCord versus Devin Brown. We all see why. You know, Kyle McCord literally just, I don't think he didn't make a roster. I'm pretty sure he got cut. I could be wrong. Pretty sure he did. And also Devin Brown just got benched for a freshman, an incoming freshman, dude, an incoming true freshman. And just like that's just something that Ohio State fans are going to remember. To be like, hey, you know what? Remember 2023 when we had option A, Devin Brown, and option B, Kyle McCord. So it's just like that's crazy. So it, you know, just overall, I think there's literally just, like you said, man, nothing to worry about, you know, with quarterbacks under Ryan Day. So
it's just interesting because we get so swept up in it. Like even this year in our group chat, like one of the guys was like super concerned about Is this going to happen? Is Julian saying the dude? And all over Buckeye blogosphere, we had consternation. And I feel like the reason this gets touted every time Ohio State is bringing in a new starter is because, one, we have the biggest fan base. And so they know that if they put anxiety or doubt or any kind of negative spin on a quarterback article, Ohio State fans are going to click on it. And a lot of Buckeye Nation, once again, bought into the narrative that both Keenholz and Sane don't look sharp. Even Buckeye bloggers were doing it this year. Bobby Carpenter jumped in on that platform, and so or with that talking point. And so it's just interesting because we fall for it. But Julian Sane is proving game by game that he is the guy for the job, and he's going to lead us to great things this season.
Here's the thing about the Bobby Carpenter comment. That I think that was in like March, dude. It was like, yeah, it was March.
Yeah, spring ball,
and, yeah. What I saw during the spring game that, Julian Sane was the clear-cut starter from there. The stats showed it. And I was at that game too. Like the stats showed it, the way he marched on the field, the players, the accuracy, the ball placement. It's all there to what it was all there to what we're seeing now. I guarantee you, and I said this before and I'll say it again, in the back of Ryan Day's head, he knew that Julian Sane was going to be the starting quarterback, but for the spirit of competition and keeping Julian Sane on his toes and not, getting lackadaisical, he didn't say anything. And it made it seem like a competition.
Yeah, we both, you and I, were pretty consistent that Julian Sane was going to be the starter. Like, this wasn't truly a competition. Now, I'm not saying he's lying to Keenholz. He's being upfront and honest, but there was clearly a pecking order. And Keenholz is a great athlete and a great teammate for the Buckeyes, and we know that for sure. But he didn't really have a shot at winning this position. But yeah, man, the Bobcats coming undefeated, and it should be a fun contest. They're going to be more of a challenge than Grambling State could muster. Everybody knew that, but when Ohio beat West Virginia at home in Athens last week, Rich Rod's second stint with the Mountaineer program, they take another L, and it's pretty fun to see the Bobcats come in undefeated and to see what kind of challenge they can offer, because Parker Navarro is he's a scrambling quarterback, and he is one that can he can move the pocket, and he can manipulate the pocket, and so it's really fun to it's going to be a challenge to stop him. He obviously is a MAC team, and he doesn't have the receivers they're going to be open against our amazing secondary, but it's going to be fun to watch Navarro and see him scramble around and have a good challenge of stopping his legs as well as his arm, because he's a championship quarterback, and he's bringing that confidence into the horseshoe. He's not going to be intimidated playing in that environment, despite probably growing up a Buckeye fan and wanting to be a Buckeye.
Yeah, man. Look at this comment, dude. Find a new hobby, guys.
I wouldn't even address it. Just take it down.
You know what, man? I bet you Jake right now, he's sitting behind his iPad, sitting around while his mommy and daddy buy him nice new things, and he probably gets paid to stay at home. So, but anyways, so a lot of people just like to be negative and expect everyone else to be negative. Just enjoy your team. Well, I mean, yeah, sure. But yeah, dude. So heading in this game, man, looking back at Grambling State, I like how they got the run game going. They let Julian Sane do his thing. Let that happen again. Let him get the kinks out before there's a bye week, and then you have to travel to Washington for more than likely a night game. You're traveling to the West Coast for a night game, and it's just you need to get those kinks out, man, before the big games go up. And like I said, these last 2 weeks are the perfect time. But also, man, the Ohio Bobcats head coach, he was asked about Ohio State. He's like, yeah, man, they have two really great receivers, Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs.
Oh boy.
And I'm just like, we're just like, what? You do realize that Caleb Downs is one of the best safeties in all of college football. I don't know if that's disrespect or it's just like you just clearly don't know. But dude, you should know, man. You should know thy opponent. So I just don't get it. But yeah, man, I just
Kind of humorous.
I want to see more of the run game get established because we all know against certain teams in the Big Ten, it's important to win in the trenches. And just for the sake of, let's say that all they need to do is get a couple first downs to run out the clock, the run game definitely needs to be there. So they need to use this game to establish it more. What would you like to see, Peter?
I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, versus Grambling, I feel like it wasn't even a dominant performance on the ground. Like Donaldson performed well, yes, but I need to see more from Peoples, man. He's letting me down, bro. Peoples is letting me down. I don't understand. He performed really, really great last season in spot duty. I understand it's a different thing when you're getting half the carries, but yikes, man. James Peoples needs to step up for sure.
Yeah, man. What's with the Ohio mascot attacking Brutus? What happened? I don't know, man. I guarantee you is just for, just content, the public, just make things interesting. But
he actually, I remember from the story, he actually wasn't part of the mascot lineup. He's just someone that literally snuck in and stole the outfit of the Bobcat and attacked Brutus. But I kind of hope it happens again. That'd be amazing. I would love to see that. It was hilarious then. It'd be another viral clip again now too. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens on the football field this time. It should be a lot of fun to watch the defending MAC champs come to the horseshoe and try and give their best effort. I mean, ultimately it won't be close, but they are a much more serious opponent than Grambling State. And this is a fun matchup, man. It's not like Michigan State. We don't have an in-state rival like that. But for some reason, I always just find it fun when we play the Bobcats, and because it is so infrequent. But it'll be fun. It's a fun day for the state. Let's put it that way. It's a fun day for the state. The two biggest universities getting together on the football field.
Yeah, I like the rotation that they had going, man. I mean, the backups got in, the third string got in. It just seemed like there were just a plethora of players being able to get some reps, just the rotation stuff. Not normally what we would see in previously coached Ryan Day teams. But
I was very pleasantly surprised to see him rotate the guys. I was gonna be super pissed if he didn't, and he pulled them essentially at halftime. So that was really awesome to see. I mean, that's what you need to happen when you're playing an opponent the level of Grambling State. It was a clear the benches type game, and finally Ryan Day did that. Now, do I think he'll pull Julian Saint going forward in blowouts? I don't think he's going to change his strategy on quarterbacks coming out early, unfortunately. I want him to desperately because I don't want to see injuries because we have nobody behind him. Keen Holtz is serviceable, but not elite. And I'd love to see that him pull his QBs sooner. It's a powerhouse, yes, but never been a rival. Cincinnati and Ohio State have some bad blood. Dating actually back to the basketball rivalry when they met in 3 straight national championship games in the 60s. And there was bad blood between the schools, and so we just didn't play them very much in any sports. And so that really soured things. But, yeah, Cincinnati is good, but – only under certain head coaches. They're certainly in a down spell right now. Again, their coach Satterfeld is likely to be fired at the end of the year or before the season ends. So we'll see if they can bounce back up and become a power again under new coach. But yeah, in this century, I mean, Brian Kelly brought him up, Luke Fickell brought him up, but then they make some bad hires and they fall right back down. So
wait. Before Brian Kelly, it was Mark D'Antonio, wasn't it?
Mark D'Antonio before him, yep.
Because Mark D'Antonio, when he was at Cincinnati, he was recruiting my brother.
Yeah, buddy. Yep, yeah. Absolutely. So No, it'll be fun to watch them play, man, and it should be good. I think Ohio State will probably win somewhere around like 45 to 13 or something like that is my prediction for this contest. But there's
Yeah.
some other big games going on in the SEC, particularly. We got Georgia, Tennessee on the slate this weekend. We got Texas A&M traveling to Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish looking to bounce back, get their first win of the season, and then another one in the ACC. This is somewhat interesting. We'll talk about this briefly. South Florida going to play Miami. They already knocked off Boise State. They've who did they beat this last week? I'm blanking on who they beat. Oh, it was Florida.
Yeah, they beat
They beat
Florida,
the
man.
Gators in the swamp, and now
Man.
they're trying to become state champs and knock off the fifth-ranked Hurricanes. And if they do it, they're in the front seat for that 12 seed in the playoff spot.
They're not gonna do it, man. No way, man.
I don't think so either.
They're not.
But I want them to.
But Peter, before we get to those games, I just want to ask you one more question about the Ohio Bobcats matchup.
Sure.
Do you think eventually Bo Jackson is going to get more reps, dude?
100%. He's clearly, honestly, I think he's the best running back on the roster. I think he's better than Donaldson, although I think Donaldson will maintain the bulk of the carries. But I think Peoples is getting replaced with Bo Jackson. And I don't know if it'll be in this game, but it'll certainly be by the midway point of the season.
I mean, Georgia was really going after him. I mean, we were so lucky to get him, man. But yeah, dude, I'm not surprised. I like what I saw from him in the spring game. I'm like, this dude is gonna rise up the depth chart easily, man. And it's I guarantee you, he's gonna replace. I think eventually he'll replace James People as the backup.
Yeah.
And, he'll be getting split carries with CJ Donaldson, but they could use Jackson a lot more in the passing game too. So
yeah. The only thing with freshman running backs I worry about is fumbles. Even Chris Beanie Wells had a massive fumbling issue his freshman season. And so we'll see if he can maintain that versus some serious opponents. But yeah, I think honestly, there's a very real chance he might supplant him in this Ohio game. We'll find out, but I'm looking forward to that. Unfortunately, it seems like People's just whatever reason he doesn't have the vision, he doesn't hit those holes. He can't find the holes that are there for Donaldson, and so it's a big problem for him. I hope he figures it out, but I kind of have the sense that he may be moving on from the program at the end of the season. So
you think, man?
I mean, if he gets replaced and going to running back 3, he's not sticking around. No way.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
No way.
That's a great point. Yeah, you're right. I mean, wasn't he man, I forgot what school he was really interested in prior to committing to Ohio State.
Yeah. I don't remember either, but I mean, when you're expected to be RB1 and you end up at RB3, that's not good, bro. That's not good.
Yeah, but going back to those big matchups, and there's one I really wanted to pinpoint on, because we're talking about Cincinnati, it made me think of Luke Fickell, who brought that program to the playoffs for the first time. It's not like he's been at Wisconsin for a while. It seems like that third year rise in the program isn't coming to fruition, and now they're about to play the Alabama Crimson Tide, and it's just
Luke.
It makes me think that I mean, the Crimson Tide look bad, but do they look Wisconsin bad from what we've seen, dude? I mean, there's the current roll Tide bad, the Alabama program currently, and then there's the current or previous Wisconsin team who has just been terrible, dude.
Yeah. It's hard for us Buckeye fans to see Luke Fickell struggle. I mean, he is a Buckeye through and through. He's been an All-American lineman for us. He was on the staff for over a decade, and he's just given and given and given to Ohio State his whole life and his whole career. And so to see him struggle is painful. I don't think the Badgers are capable of going into T-Town and coming out with a victory. I think, as they're on this backup quarterback for a third straight year now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's tough to see, man. And the injury bug keeps hitting his quarterbacks, and he can't catch a break there. And you can't win in college football if you don't have a good quarterback. And that's what he's struggled to find. And they've started off this year well, but opponent caveats apply. And this is too tall of an order, I think. So,
Hey, you know what, Cliff? I wasn't, because again, like, not every coach is meant to succeed as their first head coaching job at a big time program. That was his audition. He failed, and actually really worked out because we all know who we got
buddy,
next season, the prior season, man. One of the top 2 head coaches in all time. Oh, top
for
5
sure.
all time
For
college
sure.
football, man.
What do you think? I mean, we've been really harsh on DeBoer. We really have been, for justifiable reasons. And Alabama fans are not going to be patient with him. But I think probably pretty comfortably the Tide get a victory down there in Alabama this weekend. I wish this was in Madison, because I would feel a lot more confident in the Badgers. Based on year 2 under DeBoer and year 3 under Fickle, but I can't. There's no scenario I can envision that has the Badgers coming home 3-0.
If they drop one at home to Luke Fickle and the Wisconsin Badgers, I guarantee you they'll fire him that day, dude. That's how bad that loss would be.
Man,
You do realize
15 games into a career.
Wisconsin under Luke Fickle has not been able to produce not even a top 40 recruiting class. Yeah. They have no talent. I mean, yeah, they have Jalen Ballard at wide receiver and, maybe some others, but dude, the program just in general, it's really bare right now, man. You could also argue that Luke Fickle was put in just a terrible position, but and that's why it would just be awful, just awful if Kalen DeBoer drop one at home to this team. He should resign immediately.
I'm rooting for it, and the whole nation is too, man. Everybody loves watching Alabama's downfall. We've certainly been eating it up and enjoying every moment of it. So if Fickle can pull this off, hey, salute, and you're extending your lifespan as a Badger head coach. Defensively, they're decent, but I never understood why he got rid of Jim Leonhard, man. That never made sense to me. The defense was humming. Yes, I know he wanted to run a different defense.
He's in the pros
first of
now,
all,
dude.
Why would you run a different defense when your defense is so elite under a defensive coordinator? Just retain him and keep that defensive consistency there. And that was his first big faux pas, in my opinion.
Leonard's in the pros now, dude. He's not coming back. He's making good money, just like,
Well, now he is, but I'm saying he had the chance to retain him and keep him on staff because he didn't have a job that whole first year there.
Dude, it wasn't gonna happen. He would eventually ended up in the NFL, dude. Not gonna happen. Jim Leonhard is where he needs to be. He belongs, dude. Same as Jeff Hafley, man. He's not come back to college football. He's making good money with the Packers. They put on that master class against Detroit Lions. So
yeah, he's an elite mind, but my point is there was no reason to ever let him go, and he didn't have a job that first year, when Luke Fickle was there, and so he should have retained him, but he didn't, and he's paying for it now. They switched to the 4-2-5 defense, and obviously that's what a lot of people are running. So I get why he wanted to do that, and he ran that at Cincinnati as well. But it pains me, man. It pains me, and I hope he can turn it around. But I know you've lost some hope in him, or all hope in him. I still am clinging on to hope, but it's more out of I want you to succeed, and so therefore I want this to happen. Not I think this is going to succeed, and I think this is going to go well. I unfortunately don't see it ending well for Luke Fickell
But
in Madison.
I will say, man, I have been cheering for Fickle as well, and part of me thinks that because this is my theory. It's we talked about this before. So when he was at Cincinnati, you know, he was
Yeah.
recruiting well enough to be able to do well in the conference they were playing in. But as
Mhm.
you saw, when it came time to playing, the Alabamas of the world and that playoff game, they weren't ready because again, he recruits well enough to achieve at a high level in the conference they were playing in,
Yeah.
but not recruiting well enough to be able to compete with the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, then Pac 12. And it's just like it's showing, man. He just may not be a coach who's going to be at a big time program, but also look at the look at the situation he was put in, dude. That pretty much that program tanked. So
Yeah. Well, there's certain coaches that reach their cap and their level at a group of five school. Brady Hoke is a perfect example of that. He has done amazing in both stints at San Diego State, and he was completely outclassed at Michigan. And unfortunately, I think the same might be true for our boy Fickle. We're going to see how things play out. Obviously, rooting for the win down in Tuscaloosa, not expecting it for the Badgers. Definitely think, what's up, Kinetic?
what's up,
Definitely
Kinetic?
think the Tide are going to walk away victorious. But another program I've been really harsh on, man, the Georgia Bulldogs over the years. What do you think they're going to match up as they travel to Tennessee and Knoxville this season? They have troubles there. They really do have struggles when they travel to Knoxville. So I'm curious on your thoughts on that one. They've looked really good, the Bulldogs have so far this year. And I'm not very high in Gunnar Stockton, but he's outperforming my expectations.
Yeah, when I saw Gunnar Stockton play in the SEC championship game, he looks like a run first quarterback. But you know what? I'm interested to
Yeah,
see, how he's gonna do against, Hupel coached Tennessee team, and also, um, you can't really go against a Kirby Smart defense, dude. I mean,
yeah,
dude, I said it every year, man. I've said it every year. You cannot count out a Kirby Smart defense. Those Georgia Bulldogs, the defensive side, they will get you. They will come for you, and that's that, man. I mean, like,
yeah,
look what dude, just clutch moments last season. If they don't beat Texas once, or just even twice, they don't
sure.
they don't make the playoffs, man. Georgia doesn't make the playoffs, so he
Yeah,
knows how to coach up his team during those big games. Kinetic says, I'm not impressed with Stockton. Kinetic,
nope.
I, I'm not impressed with him either. Again, like for what I saw, he's a runner, and from what I saw in the playoffs against Notre Dame, he doesn't really have an impressive long ball.
Heck
I
no.
have to see more accuracy with him as well. And he also put, you think Georgia beats Bama this year? Kinetic, just like, Ryan Day, and I hate to admit this, Ryan Day has an Ohio State problem. No matter who the coach is, Kirby Smart has an Alabama problem, no matter who the coach is.
Yeah,
So it's more like both coaches are going to have to prove it before, they just got to prove it, man. Because so far, even though Nick Saban's gone, Kirby Smart still lost to the Alabama Crimson Tide with Kalen O'Bear. So,
yeah.
well, we'll see, man. But until then, he's got to prove it, dude.
It's in Athens, and Alabama is stumbling, and yet I still cannot bring up the gumption to pick the Bulldogs in that matchup. It's gonna be fun to watch, man. Because if he fumbles again against this Alabama team, oh, he's gonna take flack for that big time.
Yeah.
He took it last year, but this will be a whole new level. So
So he put, did you guys see our guys, JJ McCarthy and Donovan
nope.
Jackson balling out last night?
I saw the pick six. That's what I saw. Then I went to bed.
No, Peter, he recovered, man.
I know, I
I give
know. He
him
scored
that.
21 in the
I give
fourth.
him that.
I'll
You
give him
know,
that. I'll give
yeah,
him that. But he settled
but
down. The first half was pretty atrocious, but he balled out in the second half. So
he makes. You know what he says. Lot. It's kind of interesting how some of the best performing Wolverines and Buckeyes bring out the best in each other in the NFL, either on the same side of the ball or directly against each other in practice. Yeah, man. I mean, like, dude, I don't know if Tyreek Williams is getting some snaps with Detroit recently, but he'd be
yeah,
playing alongside Aiden Hutchinson. So, but yeah, you just oh, dude, that Stroud and Nico connection, that's the real
it's
deal,
pretty
man.
elite.
Yeah, it is pretty elite. I'm not
Stroud
gonna
is
lie,
lucky to
man.
have him back because he was struggling without him last season at the end when he didn't have him healthy.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, like I also, dude, Hupel, it seems like he just falls in the big moments, dude. And dude, last season, man, he did it again. Kirby Smart did it again. He coached up the team against Tennessee
Yeah,
and they won. Georgia beats Tennessee. That's another big game that you need to win in order to make the playoffs, dude. So as of right now,
yeah.
I have Georgia winning that game, dude.
You're bold enough. You're switching it up.
Dude, I've
Oh,
always, dude. Remember my
oh,
predictions.
versus Tennessee. Versus Tennessee.
Remember my predictions last season. Remember my predictions last season.
Yeah, you
I
were right, but
said
I was
that
also right.
Georgia will beat Texas twice because you can't count out a Kirby Smart coach defense. You just
Yeah,
can't, dude. You
they're
just can't.
great. They're great defensively. They really need to figure out some things offensively, though. I think they're slipping even further in that direction. And so, but defense will always keep you in the games. We saw with Michigan last year, and their anemic
But
offense. They were still in every game. So
I want to ask Kinetic a question. Kinetic, give us your thoughts on Sherrone Moore right now. Is it still going towards the, let's continue to give him a chance, he'll get better, or is just like, he's kind of on the warm seat?
yeah, I mean, it was interesting to listen to TJ's comments on that. He said he's on a warm seat, and I would have to agree with that. With 6 out of his first 14 games resulting in losses, you have to look in the mirror at that point. I mean, that's almost a 50% losing percentage right there. So I think he's a guy to improve for Sherrone. Thankfully, the schedule it bodes well for the Wolverines. So even though they may not be improving, they probably will be getting W's because of who they're playing. So we'll see though. Without Sherrone Moore as head coach out in Nebraska, that game gets a little more interesting. Although I think that probably should be a win for the
Biff,
Wolverines based on how they played Cincinnati.
okay, he says, I wouldn't say it's warm yet, but if the play calling doesn't get adjusted by the end of the year, it will be. Yeah, I don't know if you agree with this, Kinetic, but
Wow.
from what I saw during the game, it seemed like, the play calling started going more towards, what Sherrone wanted, and rather than
Yeah.
letting Chip Lindsey do his thing, because a good amount of the second half, it was just there was quite a bit amount of running, and it's just like, I mean, that's just from what I saw. Yeah, but look at Rich Rod. Michigan doesn't fire anyone that fast. He says biggest ding against Sherrone for me is the O-line. Yeah, I did, man. It's just, I'm not gonna lie, dude. It's just not the same O-lines that we saw under
Yeah.
Harbaugh. So, but
He's got some
yeah,
things to figure out on his game day. And obviously I think, Michigan is gonna throw him some grace in that. Um, but if things, continue to spiral and he takes some unexpected losses, then things will get interesting. He's absolutely going to be the coach the first game in 2026. But beyond that, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean,
Cliff is right.
he
Michigan doesn't
won't
fire coaches quickly.
he won't be coaching the first game in 2026. Just wanted to correct you on that.
Well, we'll see which game they end up selecting for the NCAA, because it's not guaranteed to be the first one. So we'll see. This wasn't guaranteed this year with Michigan picking him with games 3 and 4. So we'll see if he goes to Germany or not. But he says, I think Sherrone is similar to Jim in that he hires the coordinators and tries to let them do their job. But if Chip doesn't work out, then that's 2 hires that are on him. I actually kind of disagree with that in this. I think it's very clear that this is a Sherrone Moore offense and a Harbaugh-based offense. I don't think Chip Lindsey is calling the plays right now, in my personal opinion.
I mean, I think from what I was watching, just by the second half, I feel like Sherrone took back the play calling. You know, the first half where he let Sherrone, he let Bryce was able to run around and throw the ball more. It looked like that was more Chip Lindsey. They were switching up, but as the game went on, you saw. I mean, it is typical for a head coach, who has been offensive play caller, take back the play calling if need be. Just like Venables, he calls a good amount of the defensive plays. So a
little dump off passes like to Haynes that we saw, and the not the north and south stuff, but the east and west type stuff, the wide receiver screens, all that kind of, for sure. That, and like to Rob's point, that was a first half thing. We didn't see that much in the second half. So I don't know how much he was calling the plays.
Dude, Kinetic, we don't really take the whole thing seriously. We just want to move on from. I'm just talking crap, man. But yeah, but dude, this weekend, man, just great. Just a reminder that it's great to have college football back. It's been a long drought. We're gonna see what happens with Luke Fickell when they go to play the Alabama's Crimson Tide. Hopefully, it's not that big of a blowout as last season. And we're gonna see that Tennessee Georgia matchup. Was Nico a problem on the team? Is their offense going to be able to be humming more against that Georgia Bulldogs defense? We'll see, man.
It's going to be a lot of fun, man, because Joey Aguilar is looking like the massive winner, and Tennessee is looking like the massive winner in that trade, getting that cancer off their team. Obviously, he's tanking at UCLA. We knew that would happen because of the lack of talent on the roster. But, yeah, can Tennessee's explosive offense compete against Georgia's defense? We're going to find out.
Who was that dad? He had I think it was the Ball brothers and the Ball father.
LeVar Ball.
Yeah, he definitely, just another instance where he just ruined his kids, man. Was involved too much in contract negotiations where they were going to go. Just oh yeah, the big baller brand. Oh man, what a joke, dude. I mean, dude, like, first off, I get you want to have the interest of your child, but in terms of their talent, it's not yours to lose. It's your kids to lose. And if they have the talent, I understand that you would want them to play for a big program, but don't let money be the biggest influence in terms of that decision, because dude, you went from being at Tennessee, a Josh Heupel coached program, and then he's now at UCLA, where I don't even think they're gonna get 4 wins.
Yeah, you're spot on with that, Kinetic, bro. It's gonna be fun to see how this reflects on college football and the NIL society that college football has become. It's a warning story, man. It absolutely is, and there's no other way to look at it. I think this is going to be a study case that coaches are going to use to say, "Look, man, grass ain't always greener over there." I'm glad this is blown up in his face, not because I dislike the kid or anything like that, but just because I really, I'm resistant to change in this era, and I didn't like the changes when they came in, and I'm glad to see some negative side come as a result of this, uh, and maybe kids will learn to stick with their commitment a little bit more.
Dude,
Maybe kids will learn.
Connect brings up a funny point, man. He went from making 2.2 million in a state with no state income
Yeah,
tax to California making
I'm saying,
1.5
bro.
million. Dude,
Like,
that's
who's his agent?
dude.
Why is his dad guiding him that way?
Speaking of like the income tax stuff, one of the big reasons why Tyreek Hill of Kansas City Chiefs to go to play the Miami
Sure,
Dolphins was
sure.
because the state income tax, dude.
Yep.
He was able to keep a good amount of his money.
Yep.
So, I mean, but it is hilarious, man. The fact that Nico Yamalava, however you say it, my bad if I said it wrong. The fact that he just be okay, I'm gonna hold out. Like, dude, this isn't the pros, man. You're technically not under contract. The coach has every right to move on from you if you want to make that big of a move. Like, what a jerk move, man. And from that moment, I guarantee you, if he would have come back after that, he wouldn't have respect from anybody, dude. It would be, I guarantee you, the offensive line would be like, you know what? Let's send this dude a message.
For sure,
Guaranteed.
man. He had lost all respect in the locker room. He didn't really have a choice but to leave once he had entered the portal, and so he's lying in his own bed, man. UCLA might win one game, and it might be this weekend. They might go 0-12. There's a very realistic possibility. I definitely don't have them winning the conference game. That's for sure. And Nico, specifically, no way that man gets drafted. There's absolutely no chance. So,
Yeah, Connecticut has a point. Try doing it in good faith. Try not. I mean, yeah, he could still practice for the team and be renegotiating contract offers. But if it doesn't happen, dude, the team always comes. The team always comes first. I mean, that's where college football has just completely lost its touch. You have a lot of good amount of players, money
well,
first. But hey, man, you know
I
what?
kind of
If
I
you,
kind of disagree. Oh, go ahead, Rob.
but again, it depends on the position you play. If you're a running back,
Yeah,
I can understand why you're asking for massive money because the typical life of a running back in the NFL is maybe what 4 to 5 years if you're lucky. I mean, dude, Zeke, got Bell, Gurley, they were once the
yeah.
face of running backs in the NFL, and now we don't even hear from 'em, dude. Like they just dropped out of the league.
The reason why I disagree is you're the leader of the team, man. One, that is absolutely going to travel in the locker room. So even if you stay, all your teammates going to know you're looking out for yourself first. You're not putting in the effort in the weight room. You're thinking about yourself and your own pocketbook. You're not thinking about the betterment of the team, how I can help this team get better. You're thinking about your pockets. And as a leader of the team, I don't think you can do that, man. I just don't think you can do it at that position. So
Man, Ohio soft, man.
come on, bring it on, brother. Bring it
Hey, you
on
know
with
what,
your
man? We welcome the trash talk, dude, because that's what this rivalry is all about, man. Ohio State fans go into Michigan spaces and talk trash, and um, gosh, Michigan fans come into Ohio State spaces, so
It's what it's
vice
supposed to
versa.
be. And you guys can talk smack. You unfortunately have
Every right, man.
an argument to talk smack against us right now. And it's just the way it is. Until we beat you on the football field. If we win another national championship, it'll be just like it was this offseason if we lose to you guys.
But
It'll
hey,
be the same way.
that doesn't mean we're not going to bite back in terms of the trash talking.
No question. No question. What did you think of the Will Johnson, Chris Olave hit? I actually haven't seen it yet today.
No,
I saw a
haven't.
still image of it. I saw a still image of it, but I'm gonna have to look because I saw people talking about it on Blog actually, but I didn't see the hit. So
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
unfortunately,
I hope that Chris Olave didn't get a concussion because that raises concerns. Because, dude, there was a
had
time
multiple.
when he had to be carried off on a stretcher, and he had kind of got hit so hard that it kind of lost control of his bladder. I mean, it did, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't hear about that. Interesting. Jeez. Yeah, I heard he got lit up. But he still had 7 catches on the game and 8. So hey, Will Johnson won a play. Good for him. Olave is clearly balling out and having a wonderful NFL career, and he's going to continue on. Kinetic thinks it was a clean hit, and his blockers really dropped the ball on that one. Yeah, it's very possible. I'm gonna have to go check out the play because people were talking about it today for sure. But
Yeah, let me cause keep talking, man. Keep talking.
yeah, so it'll be fun to watch Olave and Garrett Wilson and
Oh,
Justin
here we
Fields
go.
continue to ball out in the NFL.
Here we
And
go, dude.
yeah, well, see if we can get it going.
All right, well, I'm gonna get it up here. Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
All right.
that's tiny for me.
Over there.
I mean, that
Jeez,
looked like
Louise.
incomplete.
that
Ooh.
that looked like he used his shoulder pads.
Mhm. Yep,
Looked
that
like
was brutal, man. That was vicious. That's why. That's part of the reason why I love football, man. Those big hits. I know
yeah.
they're controversial in today's day and age, but I freaking live for these hits.
It looked like the hit that was put on Justice Haynes against Oklahoma, just like
Pretty similar.
pretty similar. The blockers just dropped the ball on that, and like there's nothing really that could have been done because it was the blockers' fault. So
Well, yeah, I mean it's definitely a clean hit after seeing that. There's nothing that is illegal or anything wrong with the hit. So respect. He took his head off. Yeah, I think he probably is. I mean, he fell drastically, and unfortunately, he still landed with a bad franchise. But hopefully, he can have a good, productive NFL career because he was pretty electric at Michigan, man. People were still throwing at him. He was getting pick sixes last year, even with the injuries he's stockpiled throughout his Michigan career.
I will say that. So Peter and I, we are originally from Michigan. So we don't mind when homegrown talent does well, just not against Ohio State. So
Sure thing, sure
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Uh,
But anyway, man, there's some good games to watch. I wonder if Freeman is gonna bounce back and get an important W. He beat them last year down there in College Station, and I gets him at home. I think he'll take care of business again and get another W in his illustrious career. He continues to grow and build his brand up at Notre Dame. So
yeah,
that should be a fun one to watch as well.
definitely.
But yeah, Freeman. He's a great coach, man, but he's still got some growing pains.
They got Texas A&M this weekend, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I didn't hear you correctly, but
Sure.
the jury's. I know that Mike Elko is
Yeah,
a good coach, man. He's a good coach.
he
But
is, but he's dropping the ball still down there in
Texas A&M,
A&M.
man, it's a different culture over there, dude. If y'all's opinion, if they lose to Michigan again this year, is the seat warm? If so, how deep playoff run does he need to cool it off again? Well, that's a hard answer, Kinetic, because just like they just previously won a national championship. As much as it's the biggest rivalry, it means a lot to both states that their teams win. But it's more, we're talking about an expanded playoffs, and the expanded playoffs, yes, this game is still important in terms of bragging rights, but let's say that both teams meet with one loss or undefeated. Other than bragging rights, what else is on the line? Because if you're talking about recruiting, neither team can say you can't really say like this is why you come to Ohio State or this is why you come to Michigan. It's more going to be, well, we make the playoffs year in, year out. We get to the national championship. So it's kind of like I don't really think that. Oh man, what is going? I don't really think that his seat will be,
Oh,
you know, it will be warm. So I
no,
get
his seat
that.
won't. I'll put it this way: his seat will not be warm, but Ohio State fans will absolutely be livid
Oh
if he
yeah.
loses this game again.
Uh-huh.
There is
You
no
put it in
accepting
perfect words,
5 years.
man.
It's ridiculous, man. Like, I mean, Ohio State hasn't lost 4 straight to the Wolverines since the late '80s, early '90s, and to have it go to 5 straight, which hasn't happened since the first decade of the 1900s, would be absolutely horrible for Ryan Day's ledger. But
Yeah, man.
he has that national championship to lean back on from this year. There's no there's no scenario in which the athletic department puts him on the hot seat.
That Cooper air. Man, I think that Ryan Days is doing a better job than John Cooper, dude. And besides, I get what you're saying in terms of the rivalry, but like, there are a lot of there was a yeah. That's why it's such an interesting question to me. But it's just like there's a lot of noise coming in that Texas would take care of business against Ohio State, and then Ohio State takes care of business, and then you look at the promotion that Ryan Day did and the defensive coordinator he brought in, and it's just like, okay, like this dude clearly knows what he's doing. Um,
Mhm.
he's brought in the right people, and you got to look at his previous hires as well. He brought in Jim Knowles. He fired Parker Fleming so James Laurinaitis could go on the recruiting trail, and James Laurinaitis is the linebackers coach. And he brought in Chip Kelly. Brian Hartline is the offensive coordinator. I kind of like what I've seen, but we'll as the season goes on, we'll
Yeah.
definitely get to learn more about how his year under Chip Kelly did. Hey, it's okay,
Yeah.
Rich.
The jury is still out on Brian Hartline. There's no question about that. And so uh things to prove, things to improve on as we enter week 3 here, but things are looking good under Ryan Day, man. He's got the highest win percentage of any active head coach. Uh, he's one of just 3 active head coaches that have national championships. I mean, what can you say? You can say have one game against him and slate that against his record, but ultimately the dude is a freaking winner and a killer, and he keeps slaying these top 5
Yeah,
opponents.
man. I mean,
So,
and until proven otherwise, I take him against any other team than Michigan. I will say that.
yep, yep. We said that on Cliff and Max show, and he proved it again versus Texas. He is an elite head coach, and so we're very happy with Ryan Day.
Yeah.
There was some consternation last year, of course, after the Michigan game, and if we lose up in Ann Arbor to a freshman quarterback, there'll be a lot of consternation again. But it
There
doesn't
will.
mean he's on a hot
Not gonna
seat.
lie, man. Yeah. He'll be on the hot seat, the warm seat with the fans. But in terms of like,
People
Ross
making the
Wheeler
decisions.
and the people making the decisions, I don't think that there will be much weight put on his shoulders to have to do something special again. Now, let's say that it's 2 years past the national championship, and just like, okay, you took then just like, but I don't know, man. A discussion that we could have on the next live is like,
Mhm.
is the expanded 12-team playoff making more wiggle room in terms of coaches being able to be fired or not? Because let's say you're in a position now like James Franklin, he'll more than likely make the playoffs every year, but he may not win the whole thing. It's just like, how can you justify firing someone who gets you to that level each year? So
Yeah, yeah. It's just one of those things, man. Franklin's gonna have that that cushion, that soft zone to land on. He's got 2 tough tests this year, Ohio State and Oregon. He could lose both, and he could still make the playoffs. It's just how it's going to be. Yep, that's the truth. If that rivalry loss at the end of the season becomes a third loss and causes us to miss the playoffs, that's when things get serious. Because athletic departments, especially in this era, they want that extra cash flow that you get from making the playoffs. And not making the playoffs at a program like Ohio State or Michigan or Bama or Georgia or these other dominant programs. If you're not making it on a consistent basis, especially in the 12-team era now,
But
making it 8 out of 10 seasons,
I
you're
will.
going to be on a hot seat.
Yeah, I will say, I see Connect's comment about the conference championship game. I will say that I think eventually conference championship games will be a thing in the past. They'll
Before
get
the
rid of
decade's
them.
over.
They'll get rid of them, and then they'll start the playoffs early. The first week of December the playoffs will take place of the conference championship game. And especially if there's a 16-team playoff, it's just like if you look at it, what
Yep.
did the conference championship game do for what did it do for Oregon? It doesn't matter that they won it.
Nope.
Doesn't matter that Georgia won it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Oregon won the Big Ten. Doesn't matter if Georgia won the SEC. Doesn't matter that Arizona State won the Big 12. Doesn't matter if
Yep.
Clemson won the ACC. It's just they just didn't do it. And those who lost, normally when you lose in those games, it would decide that you didn't make the playoffs. Just like in 2022 when Utah beat USC. USC wasn't able to get in. I mean, Penn State was still able to get in. Texas was still able to get in. SMU was still able to get in. So it's just like conference championships in actuality really don't mean much anymore.
It's definitely gonna go back to the way it used to be, where conference championships were tied, 3-way ties. Last year would have been a 4-way tie in the Big 12. It's just the way it's gonna be. You're gonna go back to selecting conference championships. That way, once the 16 playoff is implemented, which is not far away, we're probably 2 seasons away from that happening, and it's what it's gonna be now.
Or wait,
it's unfortunate because I freaking loved it when it first came out, but
yeah,
it's just the reality of college football that the professionalization of college football is unfortunate that conference championships just don't matter anymore. They don't hold weight.
yeah. So here's an
but it's the truth.
idea. Here's an idea. If there is a 16-team playoff in terms of conference championships, you have I'm trying to think. You could have like a bracket filled with each team
Thanks, guys.
conference. Yes, and subscribe. Thank you. Thanks, Kinetic. Thanks, Cliff. I mean, actually, you know what, man? Before I speak on this, I want to, but the way I'm thinking is like you have those championship games in terms of, let's say that there's power conferences. You have this power conference bracket over here. You have this power conference bracket over here, and then you have your conference, let's say the East and the West or whatever, kind of like the NFL, dude. Because just like I see college football more and more trending towards the NFL format. So
That's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they want. It's not what I want, but this is exactly
money,
what the
man.
people.
It's the money.
Exactly. You have to follow the money, and that's where the sport is headed. So there's no sense in digging my heels in, despite doing it anyway.
Yeah,
It's going that direction.
Just like if you want to know what this country's about, you follow the money. Not, I'm just kidding, man. We're not gonna go there on here. But
no,
all right, you guys. Anything else, Peter?
No, that's it for me tonight. That's gonna wrap it up.
All right, man. But also tomorrow night, you can catch Peter and I on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show for their Pigskin Pick'em edition, where not only do we discuss the matchups, but we also predict the scores of each game and how it's going to go down. So it starts at 8:30 on Big Ten Team Rivalry. It's a lot of fun. A lot of rivalry banners going on over there. A lot of trash talk. So please tune in, and subscribe as well.
It's a good time. So yeah, we'll see you over there. And go Bucks and God bless. We will see you on the next one.
OH.
IO.